Hi and welcome to the channel. It's certainly been a while since I've made the last video. I think it was back in January where I was just about to go in hospital for the first of what now was a couple of operations and a couple of minor procedures on my kidneys, on both kidneys. It's been, as I said, a few of you know the whole story of what's been going on this past 5 years, but needless to say, I've had laser surgery on my left kidney and I've had a full PCNL operation on my right kidney. Both of it's to remove kidney stones, some very, very large kidney stones. The one in my right was about 25 mil and it had grown in staghorns, so it was growing all over the place inside the kidney. That was the major surgery, that's where I had to go in, and they basically cut that one away and I've had to be sort of patched up and what have you. But the two that was in my left kidney were too big to be shock treatments, they had to be lasered. I'm pleased to say it's been up and down since January, or since December actually was my first op. I've had 3 ops in total. It's been up and down, I've been very weak and very tired and just basically done a lot of reading really, because there's not really a lot I could do getting about. And so yeah, so I'm on the mend. I'm 90% there. I do have to go back and see the surgeon in August for further work on my left kidney because there's still some sediment and still bits left in the base of my kidney, so I need to get that sorted out. But other than that, touch wood as he says, I haven't felt this good for 10-15 years. Absolutely brilliant. So it's really, really good and I'm really, really happy, and all the support you guys have sent me along the way, along this journey, this past sort of 4, 5, 6 months has been immense, and it's got me through it, to be fair. Yeah, I'm really, really impressed. So huge thank you to everyone who sent the personal messages, whether on here, on Facebook, on Messenger, or wherever you've sent me the message. And I have read them all, I've replied them all, and it means a lot. It did help. It helped massively because, say, a few of you know the full story of what was going on, but yeah, the messages certainly did help. So hobby-wise, as I said, didn't really get up to doing too much. As I said, a lot of reading and everything else, but we did do updates along on our Facebook page. And if you guys haven't checked out the Facebook page, there's a link in the video description. Go and check out the Facebook page. There's a myriad of stuff that we were doing in the background. Mel and Jamie have been working really hard. Mel got together her Britonian army for the Warmaster and put together hers, and we've all put together a Blood Bowl team, which we're going to be taking up to Warhammer World to have a game of Blood Bowl in the near future. So we've all got a Blood Bowl team up together, and Jamie's been working on putting together his fantasy chaos army for Age of Fantasy by 1-page rules. That's a large army, that is. I say some of them on the table, on the desk on the left of me, I can see. That's going to be a large army. It's going to be really good to see that on the table. And we've also, Jamie and I, been writing a set of Star Wars rules. Now, we do play Star Wars Legion, and we do play Grimdark Future by 1-page rules. The things that we like about Star Wars Legion is the tokens out the bag, because that's always fun to do. And we like the way that you do the movement with the range movement sticks and then the range sticks for your shoot and everything. Old traditional styles of wargaming and range sticks. And I've always liked that. So we sort of talked about it whilst then not really doing a lot. We talked about it and what we wanted from our Star Wars games. And we've come together and we've put together a Star Wars Legion Grimdark mashed together, bits that we like from both sets of rules, but also put in our own take on what we think the Star Wars sort of universe setting would have. We've done army lists up now for the Clone Wars, and we've done army lists up for my favourite period, which is the Galactic Empire, Galactic Civil War. So I've got obviously an Empire army, and James got a Rebel force for that, and we've both got together a Separatist and a Clone armies for the Clone Wars. So we've all been painting the miniatures up for the Clone Wars to get that finished off, and as you can tell from the thumbnail of the video, we played a very large game, and that was the first. So since all the operations, that was the first test to see how I felt, and that was at Easter time this year. I had a couple of guys over, and 4 of us played a big game, and it was really, really good fun. Good try out of the rules as well, so it allowed us to see. Each time Jamie and I were doing little bits, we were increasing the sizes of the armies, and then playing that game, it played a full-blown, really big game, multiplayer game, and the rules handled it well. So a couple of the units that we've done recently, you may not have seen on Facebook or that. So here we have a transport. So again, really nice. The models are or the ship itself, the transport is from Atomic Mass Games. The guys, the clones roping in are 3D printed, and I think they really do look the part, sort of hanging off there, roping down into action. So I do like that. I'll put him down there. We've done 2 of these. These are the Fluttercraft with the Wookiee crew. Again, there's more pictures, more detailed pictures over on our Facebook page, where I've used the John Hodgson's backdrops to sort of show them off. But yeah, go over there and I'll check them out. And then down here I've got in front of me a Persuader tank for the Separatists, with little bug eyes at the front, like that. So that's really cool. So that'll all be done in there. That's just some of what we've been painting up recently. And we've painted up everything we had. So there's Yodas in there, there's the Clone Commandos, 2 units of those, there's various support platforms, other vehicles that have been painted up, and flyers. There's a whole load of stuff, again, over on the Facebook page. A few purchases whilst I've been sort of led in bed. So I picked up 4 books, Pen and Sword, the Andy Singleton's books, painting guide books. These are always handy little books to have on your shelves, and again, if you're always sort of looking for sort of tips and ideas, always good to get other people's opinions and views and how they do things and ideas and techniques. So I always do sort of like having these on the shelf. So this is going to come in useful, and I'm going to talk about in a minute. So as a future project we're starting there. And the other 2 that I picked up, again, always worth having a good look at, are some World War II, because obviously with Chain of Command version 2 about to drop, obviously there'll be some more stuff I should be added into our armies that we've got for that. So that's some purchases. There has been a couple of other things that we've got along the way, but book wise that is our next thing. I've pre-ordered obviously Chain of Commands I've just spoke about. One of the other things that whilst I've been led in bed not doing a lot, or lounging about as most people would say, but yeah, having the energy to do things was a nightmare. American Civil War, as you all know, is my passion, and I love reading about it. I love visiting the battlefields. It's just something about the American Civil War that really captures my imagination. And it all started back when I was at school, and we were doing a history on economics, and part of my sort of trying to mix history with mathematics and everything else is sort of, I didn't like maths at school. I was in the library and I came across a book that was talking about the American Civil War and how the economics of what was happening there was having an effect on Europe. So that's sort of what got me into wanting to read more about the American Civil War. And my sort of interest in that just grew from that. So I've played many sets of rules over the years. My favourite sets of rules that I like playing are Fire and Fury, that's both Brigade and Regimental, and I do like Pickett's Charge. Again, 2 sets of rules, or classes of sets of rules that I think are really enjoyable to play. But this got me thinking that I like playing really big games, and I like playing big multiplayer games. But sometimes some of those rules can be a little bit cumbersome, in that, you know, when you're trying to play a big game and get things across, and everybody who may not have played those rules at a similar sort of level to play. I mean, to be fair, that's where Black Powder comes in, because it's a relatively simple set of mechanics. Valor and Fortitude's very similar simple mechanics that you can pick up and just play really large games. But both of those didn't really capture what I was after in the game. So again, whilst I've not been able to do too much, it was a time where I could put some ideas together and sort of work out what it is I was after. And recently I've managed to play a game with the rules, as you can see, to see the elephant, and here's a few shots of the game that I recently played. I've played a few playtest games now. I've played, say the 3 of us here have played. I've played with another friend of mine, and the feedback's been really good about, you know, what they expect from the game and what they think how the game should work. It's been really interesting, and yeah, it's been a lot of fun, and it's been sort of to and fro, and it is the mechanics of how it plays. It sort of lends itself to that sort of what you imagine the firepower should be, especially in the early stages of the war, where they were just getting, some units still had the smoothbore muskets, some units were getting rifled muskets, and there's a myriad of weapons, and they were starting to trying to understand how the tactics and that to use with these armies and that. So yeah, it's really good. I'm really enjoying it. I will be putting some more games together with that and playtesting a little bit more of that in the near future. So this brings me on to the new project. Now, last year, back last summer, we went to BritCon and played into the Lardy event in the Large Zone and played a couple of games. And one of those games I played was Midgard. I'd already had snippets of the game at Partisan shows previously, and I've been following James's blog for some time now, and ever since he first posted that these were a possibility, that Midgard was going to be published through the Victrix press for Tufak Lardies, I was hooked, and I thought this is an ideal set of rules for me for playing really big games. Not just in sort of like Dark Age, early medieval, I want to use them for playing ancients. Now I've already got a load of Romans which I was building for another project. That's now been paused, and we're going to turn that over to a Midgard force along with our ancient Britons, which Mel's going to be putting together for that. As you can see from the two pen and sword books, that's sort of the reason why, sort of the link between the two. So yeah, so as you can see on the screen now, the two forces that will be coming up, these are the 300 point forces as they are in bases. I think I might change the cavalry base for a slightly shorter one, because I think that one would more represent medium and heavy cavalry, and I'll probably get one that's about 2/3 that depth. It's just ideas I'm thinking about at the moment. But as you can see on the Celt side, that is a 300 point force. Again, the big deep bases for the chariots, and the 400 point force has another unit of that, and a unit of warriors and a leader. But for the Romans, they get extra legionaries, auxiliaries, and some artillery, which is what's currently on the bench at the moment. So I'm building up a couple of those bolt shooters, and they're going to be a base of bolt shooters to go in with the Roman army. But let's go out into the Wargames room and I'll show you what I've got up together so far. So here we have then the makings of the Early Imperial Roman force, which is Force 16 on the army list, which is a free to download on the Midgard Facebook group. This is a list that James put together, and it also has the sort of like the Ancient Britons force list as well, which is sort of a 3/400 points list to go along with this one. But so the 400 points makes up this with the Optio up in front. There is also going to be another 3 leaders ranging from level 2 and a level 3 leaders. I think it's 2 level 2s and 1 level 3, which will be adorned for this force. So what you get in there, so at the back then we have, I'm going to say, excuse shaky cam and that, because I'm on shaky cam. We have 4 legionary groups, and in front of those we have 4 auxiliary groups. So again, I put 12 figures on the back legionary groups, and I've put 10 figures for the auxiliaries. None of the figures are glued down at the moment, it's just there so I can just roughly see how they'll look and on the bases and that. So they were done for another project, but I thought I'm going to repurpose them for a game of Midgard. The bases we're using are from the Big Red Backshot for his TTS, as you can see on the bases. I think they'll work perfectly for playing Midgard. The 2 cavalry bases at the back, these is where I'm a bit sort of stumped at the moment. And it's got in the list that the cavalry are light riders. So again, they're not scouts, they are sort of light cavalry. And looking at the listings in the Midgard book, light cavalry have 4 figures to a base. Now I'm just wondering whether or not to either reduce the base depth down slightly, so it's like one of these bases here, but you can get a slightly deeper one, and put them on those, and then have like scouting light cavalry on a bigger base, and like your medium and heavy cavalry on those, which will have more figures. Just as ideas at the moment, I'm unsure where to go with that. So also what you get here would be 2 slinger units, an artillery base which will have 2 of the Roman bolt shooters, so again be 1 on either side of there, and a group of archers. I'm going to probably put 8 archers on there, sort of regular sort of like legionary archers, be quite cool for that. So there we have it then, guys. That is all I've got for you today. Again, a huge thank you for all of you who sent kind messages of support and that whilst I was recovering. Made a massive difference. One thing that did help, and again another thank you to you guys, was I was watching your videos or following you on Facebook and seeing what work you've been getting up to. Now if I've commented on your videos, it's because I was watching it on my tablet. If I haven't commented, I've always left a like because I was watching it on my TV, using the TV's like keyboard on there. It's a pain in the neck, so I didn't do that, but I did smash the like button for you on all your videos and that I've watched. So huge thanks for that. It did help, and again very inspirational, some of the work that you guys are doing. That's so brilliant stuff. And until next time, guys, we will be doing another update of the Midgard project. So this is now an ongoing for the next few weeks of what we're going to be getting up to with that. We don't always post videos, but we do updates on our Facebook page, as I said before. So again, link in the video description down below. Be sure to check out that, check out us on there, and that you'll be able to see what's been going on. So until next time, guys, please stay safe and happy wargaming.